Okay, we got one viewer here, so that's nice. And I got more battery than I had last night, so I should be able to go longer. See if we get pretty full tonight. I mean, that would be nice. I think the most people I've had on a stream was like maybe 12, and that was like 5 years ago. Not sure how many people get notifications for these things these days. I remember, back in the day when I used to live stream all the time, it was always, kind of hard. You always had to figure out what time of the day was best and all that other type of stuff. Should be going rail fanning tomorrow, so, that's nice. It's kind of hard to rail fan in Mexico on my line just because, in Washington State and even in Utah, the tracks were surrounded by cities. And, cities have, mills, they have train yards and stations and all that type of stuff. So there's a lot of things, that, attract a big amount of trains. In Washington, if I was, let's say, in Lacey, I had a rail yard to my south and a rail yard to my north. And both of them were only like 30 miles away. I had Tacoma Yard and I had Centralia Yard, so I always had a good flow of trains. But here, I only have, I think, one rail yard probably to the south. And, it's a lot of desert the trains have to cross. So, they have to cross a lot of wilderness before they get to me. So, it can make, waiting a long time. It's a lot, quicker to wait for a train to come out of a city than it is to wait for a train to come out of the desert, just because they have to travel longer distances. So, it's different. Got a nice sunset going on right now, so, that's cool. I'll send a message to some of the... Yeah. All right, we got 2 viewers now. That's cool. We're getting along now. Wonder who it is. Rod Harold was in here the other day. He was talking about, CSX discontinuing some trains. It's always interesting to hear, what CSX is doing, because for a while in my life, CSX was, pretty much the only trains I would see. When I was in North Carolina, I wouldn't see really any NS. It was all CSX power. When I was in Cary, North Carolina, there was a CSX line, but I also saw some NS down there too. And then when I was in Southern Pines, it was like all CSX. So, I got a I can't even speak, but I got a soft spot for CSX. I like CSX a lot. They used to be my favorite out of the Southern railroads, but, Norfolk Southern has overtaken CSX. Now that they got heritage units, they got a chance. But, I mean, NS has heritage units, they have sonic bonnets, and they have big diversity when it comes to horns. I always like horn diversity, P3s, RSVLs, all that type of stuff. I mean, NS has like the whole collection. CSX pretty much all they got is like, I think, like K5LAs, if I remember correctly. 4 viewers, that's pretty nice. Bring on those comments. I hope the comments are working. BNSF is pretty decent when it comes to having different horns as well. If you're on the main line, you're not going to hear much different, because you usually hear the K3LA for the Dash 9, and then you'll hear, the Jiva horn, and that's pretty much all you hear. You hear Ace every once in a while, but, the Dash 9s can be pretty good because allergies, but some of them have P3s, RS3Ls. I've caught 2 Dash 9s that had P3s, and I got one with the RS3K. So, you know, keep your eyes on those Dash 9s. Funny enough, though, I've not caught an RS3L before, though. I was in downtown Olympia and I heard an RS3L. I think it was from the PSAP Railroad, but I've never been, you know, boots on the ground trackside and have seen an RS3L leader, which sucks, but I mean, it is what it is. Getting outside of GEs, I've seen three, let's see, three BNSF engines with Nathan P3 horns. One was SD60M and two were Dash 9s. And then I saw one RS3K. Well, our viewer amount just dropped like heck. Hold on a second. I think the chat is broken. Uh, I'm not sure if it is or not, but because I think I accidentally have it on YouTube Kids mode, so uh, I'm gonna actually end this and see if I can